It could just stay in that box, and there's still like, do you feel like this is connected to rooms of other people and they're watching?
Yeah, it's like there's people
like virtual people.
I noticed this too. Like I'm struggling with it right now, but it'll go away. Like after like a couple minutes go by, like you forget that it's there in there.
Right, because as soon as it feels like some external thing is watching, you feel like you have to perform or something, and I don't want it to be like it's a performance. It should feel very natural.
Yeah, so we should drink some wine actually.
Yeah.
What did you say Vicki's doing again?
She's doing yoga, so she'll probably be done in like 20 minutes or so.
Oh, okay.
Because we were gonna go originally, but
So you left in the middle of yoga?
No.
You're like doing a pose and you're like, fuck. You're taking your phone in the middle of yoga.
Because I didn't know whether you were actually coming over here or not, and then I got your text, and when yoga was like 30 minutes after, it was like I'm not gonna have time.
Yeah. Let me piss real quick.
What's up? For all you math fans in there, you should read this, probably, especially the section on Mobius transformations.
I didn't think he was doing yoga in there.
She was.
I thought she was at the gym doing yoga.
Oh no. I said she's in there. Shh. I crept up the side of the fucking...
So anyways, yeah, I just had this idea of like, just like hanging out like this and just turning this into like either a podcast or like I don't know, just like a hangout session.
Yeah.
Just post it on YouTube. Like just completely informal.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Do you watch Black Mirror at all on Netflix?
No.
Oh, dude.
I've heard of it. There's like robots in there.
Yeah, it's a very like technologically rooted show, and like they just mostly it's like some kind of ethical problem that comes about by the technology. But anyways, you need to watch the first episode of the 3rd season and tell me what you think.
The first episode of the 3rd season.
Yeah, more or less what it's about. It's like social media nowadays, but taken like super far to the extreme to where you rate people and stuff. Like you have a social rating or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So everyone has like it's on a scale.
Yeah, like you have people can like hit a like they didn't like something that you did, they can do something about like write something about it, and like your social score will go down.
Yeah. This shit's crazy.
Or if like you interact with people who have a very high social standing, yours will go up.
Yeah.
And like that is credit that is used in society. So if you don't have a certain score, you can't get certain houses and stuff.
Yeah, I read about this guy who has like these theories about like social capital, about how it's like a really important form of capital that like we use all the time, but like unconsciously. Yeah, like when you do good things for another person, like that gives you social capital with that person. You can like
leverage that for like behavior, for like favors. And
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, just like we just do it unconsciously. Like our brains is like constantly calculating stuff with people and like.
So like it's like taking that idea probably. But I just thought
like formalizing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was just tracking this lady's journey to get the score that she wanted, so she could get the place that she wanted. And a lot of the other episodes were like that, to where it just takes some technological idea and just kind of like goes to the extreme with it, or explores some kind of strange possibilities. I was also trying to think of what exactly, if I was to do blog type stuff, what exactly would I want to focus on? Because
well, it doesn't matter if it's blogs. It's just like what you want to focus on in general.
Yeah. What I want to write about and then put so people that can see it. Do I want it to be like?
Do you mean like what you want to work on in general, or like what style of like explanation?
Yeah. Like so. I don't think it's a good idea to just do whatever and then just say fuck it
and post it.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, I mean that's a good way to start.
Yeah.
It's a good way to like get this. I actually realized it's hard to figure this stuff out in the abstract.
Yeah.
Like just thinking about it, like what do I like when I started posting, like I'm just like fuck it, I posted stuff. like sometimes it sucked, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't like this about it, but this is like really cool, and no one's doing this, so like I'm gonna do that. But it's hard to figure that out, like just by thinking about it. Like when I started doing like I did like my first episode of like a, I forgot what you call it, like daily grind, where it was just like literally like a vlog.
You just filmed you.
It was a
working the
vlog,
whole
like
day,
this actual
something like
vlog,
that. Yeah.
completely candid. Like that is like, I don't know if it's just not for me, but it's like hard for me to just talk like off the cuff,
Right.
to a camera. I don't know why. I just like, my style is I sit down and I think about one thing, and then I explain it really well, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then obviously just like craft it really well. Just craft one thing really well and spend lots of time like thinking, like developing, like several days developing an idea. Not just like randomly grabbing a camera and talking about whatever's on my mind.
Yeah.
So other people are good at that though. Other people can start talking about wine and be like, yeah, I had this like I suck at that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other people are just way better at doing that than me.
Yeah, you have to definitely focus on what you think are your strengths.
Yeah, so I think my strength is just taking one idea, and I think probably yours too, and like going deep into it and just like explaining it in simple terms to people, so like anyone can understand it, not just like a select few, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, so the first thing that came to my head, like my mom and other people have recommended that it's have a more like explanatory bend, to where it's like you take something and you explain it to people, because a lot of people need help with calculus, and so like you take some.
Yeah.
There's like a million people
Yeah.
have done that, and so I don't want it to just be some crap that's just, explaining calculus the way everybody explains calculus is boring. But it's
it just depends. Like if you think you can explain, if you think almost no one is explaining calculus well, then you should do it.
Yeah.
And like that,
I just wanna have
and
fun
not like
with it.
through all of calculus. It can just be like explaining the derivative better than anyone else,
Yeah.
and like doing like a really like good blog post on like what a derivative is. You just have to try shit. Like you can't. It's really hard to figure this out like just in the abstract. Like just like anything that's like, all right, that would be good. Like just do it. Like just spend like an entire like whatever, how much time you need to like just do that and just post it, and like just see how you feel about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Like don't spend too much time trying to find the perfect idea, because like I definitely struggled with that in the beginning, and I didn't waste a lot of time, but I think it could have gone faster if I was just willing to fuck up like a few times in the beginning. Like that would have been faster way to figure it out.
Right. Of course, there's always that like bit of apprehension, is because now everybody can see it.
And it's gonna be there forever.
Right.
But that's cool though, because then like when you are successful later, no one will care that you fucked up in the beginning. Like that'll be like a humbling thing. Like look, that was me in the beginning. Like anyone could do like what I did.
Right.
Like look how lost I was. Because that's like another thing. Like I wanna like inspire other people to do the same thing that I'm doing. And like if people think like you're just like this amazing genius, then like they won't even like they just think you have some like gift and you're like really like
yeah.
But if you show like your insecurities and like I'm like completely confused and like this is just gonna be my first post, like whatever, it'll probably change in the future, like then that's like the truth. Like you should write about the truth.
Right.
So yeah.
And I've never wanted to give off that crap to other people. Yeah, so what I was actually thinking, one possibility could be like, almost like an online journal type thing.
Like
so
this conversation right now, like you should write about this and post it. That should be your first blog post. Yeah.
See, I never would have thought about that. What I was talking about was just like interesting things that I've thought of before that isn't, journal publications, but it's still like a fascinating thing to publish about. Like I was telling Karen about, I was studying for the physics GRE, and I came up with a way to do the like optics without having to fiddle with the sign conventions. So I don't remember if you remember from like GP2 stuff.
All right, hold on. Just to give some people some context, we both studied physics together, and like he's like extremely good at physics. I was not that good at physics. I just kind of like did physics because I thought it was interesting, and I like put in the least effort possible because I was like, like thinking about other shit at the time, but he was really into physics. He's really good at math. He's probably gonna go to MIT and like do some crazy shit.
Pedro's also really good. He just didn't put.
That's just some context. Yeah. Sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, is that
You were talking to Karen about what?
Yeah, about how to do. Because the reason why, I don't know if you remember optics, but the only reason why, like, optics is non-trivial is because of the sign conventions. And so if you're trying to figure out, like, how a ray of light goes through a bunch of, like, optical devices, like lenses specifically, then you have to be able to track all these signs of the thing. If you fuck up a sign, you fuck up the whole thing. And so you have to remember the sign convention. And I figured out a way to do it that all you have to do is multiply, like, these 2x2 matrices together and not worry about the signs. And so you just have to multiply these things out, and then you figure out the problem without remembering anything. You just need to know how to multiply matrices.
Right, so just explaining that?
Yeah, so something like that would be something interesting, I think, to post. Or I brought something to one of my professors about this Boolean algebra thing, that it like simplifies the algebra of like sets, and so it makes it trivial almost. He's like, oh, that's really interesting, but I don't think it's publishable work. Which I don't really care if it's publishable.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like the blog type stuff. I don't know if you would call it a blog. I guess so. Would be like a perfect outlet for that kind of thing. Just so like, if it makes people's lives easier, and if people think it's interesting, and this is never going to be published anywhere, why the fuck not? Just like.
Exactly.
So I think that would be a good thing, and I also would like to do some explanatory stuff, like as far as calculus or something like this. But I remember talking with Andrew about something like this a while back, and he's more the journalistic type, so he said I need to focus my efforts on something. You can't just do everything. So which is why I asked.
I don't really think so. I mean, like, I think I could, like, after I learn a lot about, like, robotics and stuff, and, like, which is what I want to learn about, I think I can make, like, a video of just, like, intro to, like, how do you build your first, like, blah, 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 and that would be perfectly fine. I feel like it's more powerful when you don't have a category. Like, when you're just a guy, and you're just interesting, and, like, people, like to read whatever the fuck you're writing about.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's...
Like there is.
Because otherwise you're just, like, an explainer, or you're just...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel you on that.
And you could it just makes it more personal. Like, it would be weird if the minute physics guy was like, and then yesterday I went to the mall with my, because he's an explainer. Like, people put you in a category and you have to stay in that category. So I think it's more powerful if it's more personal and you're just like a guy and you can talk about anything.
It's not. Yeah, I feel it. It's not
That's
forcing
why I think
yourself into one category or another. So people have expectations for you.
It just makes it more personal and more real. Like what I said. I think you're literally your first blog post should be in this conversation. Like, just like, I have no idea what I do, but these are some ideas I have for what this should be, or this could be.
If you don't care, fuck off.
Yeah. It'll just make it like 100 times better. Like, 5 years from now, when you look back, look, this is my first blog post. That's like your origin story. That's.
You sound like a superhero.
No, it really is. Like, this is how I really think about stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think people have a pretty good sense for when something is genuine, and so if you give off that you're just trying to do this interesting thing, then people can sense that. I think. How long can that thing record?
Probably like 2 hours. The battery. I just ordered a battery pack, so it'll like last like forever. What's up, Vicki? How's your yoga?
Good.
Are you like centered now?
Yeah.
There was actually at the research symposium, there was a poster presentation that said that meditation improves your free recall memory.
Dude, meditation improves everything.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you like get smarter if you do meditation. every bad shit that happens to you like gets improved by meditation.
Are you a drug addict?
Seriously.
Just
It's so true.
after one session, I gave up meth.
After 3 meditations.
Fuck. There is a lot of research. My brother's like in that, all that health stuff, which I am too. It just makes me sound like a fat fuck. You know, into all that health stuff, and I'm not. They gave people who were depressed antidepressants versus exercise and various other things, and the people that exercise saw dramatic improvements, and not only like short-term improvements, but long-term improvements. And the people that were given the antidepressants showed improvement, but after they were taken off, it's only a short term.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like with all the drugs and like shit that has been developed like recently, like in the past 100 years, still the best things to like improve like yourself like psychologically are just like your diet, exercise, and meditation.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
dude, when you do some like aerobic exercise in the morning, like that day is just completely different than
Yeah, absolutely. Like your metabolism is faster.
something about your brain is just like happier. Like
Dude, if you are ever interested, while you're in there, I give a little spiel to the camera. That book, that visual complex analysis book, is one of the best math books ever written.
Oh, you said that?
Yeah. So to all you math folks, I don't know if this ever will make it out of the...
Visual complex analysis?
Yeah.
The best math book ever written.
If you are the least interested in that, you absolutely should read that book. I haven't even read the whole thing, but like the pieces that I have read from it, it's completely different.
Are there prerequisites?
No, just calc. It's like calc and maybe some linear algebra.
So how would you explain what that is in layman's terms?
Complex analysis or the book?
The book.
Traditionally, complex analysis, like you just present some rules and then you go over some of the rules, and then like that's how every math book is done. I mean, you just prove some of the rules and then, okay, this is interesting, how do we apply this rule, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Well, that book, it doesn't take as much as a proofy type bend. There's like bits of it that do necessarily, but most of it is geometric. Like, so they'll show you geometrically why something is true, and it's just more powerful that way.
Right.
Sometimes it can be a little dense, like it can be a little hard to understand because there might be a simpler algebraic way to go about something, but you get a deeper understanding when you go through it.
Visually,
in a very visual sense.
So how would you explain what visual, like complex analysis is?
How would I explain it?
Yeah.
Well, see, I wouldn't want to give a very mathy.
In like 1 or 2 sentences.
Shit. Just the calculus of complex numbers. And then that's like the simplest like one sentence thing you can give, maybe.
So you can't understand what it is unless you know what complex numbers are? Like
Probably.
how would you can't?
Probably not, because it's I don't know though. It just has more depth than just the 2 sentences. I mean, you can see broadly what it is.
It's a good book though.
It is. It's very good. I have become a non-believer in the imaginary number though. Before, I just think it makes no sense to say like, okay, so we have the square of this thing that is a negative number, so let's introduce a scalar thing that squares to do this. So I can understand the logic to a degree, but what if it's not a scalar? Geometric algebra, which is like the geometric interpretation of Clifford algebra, like it gives a resolution to that problem. And I just think it's like one of the most beautiful
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
maths that nobody knows about it, dude. Like only a very select few people know about it, and you never see it used.
Only a select few.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to write about that stuff too.
Secret algebra.
Sacred algebra.
It's been lost for thousands of years.
I think part of the reason why it's not popular though is because you have this logic like, if I know this stuff and I don't really need that other thing, and
It's redundant.
then I'm just not going to learn it. And you have another detractor is that the people that promote it sometimes present it in a way that is just unnecessary. Like, why do I need to learn all these fucking identities for things? It's just an uphill battle to learn, and then if it's too hard to initially learn it and I don't need it, then fuck it, I'm not going to learn it. But if you get past that initial learning curve, then it's like the most amazing thing that you like. And I consistently use it all the time, like behind the scenes for stuff.
Behind the scenes.
Like for rotational dynamics and like more advanced classical mechanics stuff, you can find like the Euler angle equations, which is like more or less, if you give it some set of angles, you can specify exactly how some rigid body is oriented in space.
Yeah.
And the way that you traditionally find how these equations like work is multiplying these fucking matrices together, and it's just the most god-awful thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, yeah, so if you were trapped on a desert island, as far as the thing, like the saying goes, how are you going to recreate this without some annoying ass work? And I found a way to do this, to find this in like the most simple way, in terms of the geometric algebra stuff. But the thing is, I just think that they're presenting the subject shittily sometimes. Like the big claim, the big benefit of it is that you have this picture of the algebra, and then if you think of the thing that you want to do, then you just write down some symbols and then it's done. Right? But they don't present it like that. Here's this identity, and here's how you derive it algebraically. Okay, so if I don't remember the fucking identity, and I need to get back to that identity, like I know it's there somewhere, I'm gonna have to go through this again to figure out why it's true. If you're claiming all of this, then you need to give me the picture for it. Right? So I spent some time like thinking about that. Like, why is this true intuitively? And it shit needs to be presented like that. So yeah, I think that takes more work. I think in the future it's going to be important. And one of the things I want to look at with quantum mechanics is like, how would quantum mechanics look expressed in this different math? And that's really what I wanted. One of the things I want to look at in the future. You know, really, the complex numbers stuff plays the dominant role in that whole theory. So if you get rid of that, how would it look? I definitely think it's like one of the maths of the future. And once some like better explanations are like given and stuff like that, I think it'll be like the thing that is taught. Because you don't need to learn complex numbers and all these different things of math. You just need to learn this one thing, and it does everything for you. It's always the thing, though, is that it can't just be an alternative. If you can do the same thing with the old stuff, then there's no reason to learn the new stuff. And if it's about the same ease, it has to be dramatically better than the old stuff. Otherwise, no one is going to give a shit.
Everything's like that.
Yeah.
Because there's so much momentum of like, I don't want to learn something new. Just
exactly. Like if I already know complex numbers and I already know some other shit, why do I need to learn this? If I can do everything with cross products and all that crap, then I don't need to learn this new math if I'm already proficient in the other stuff. Yeah, that'd be a good thing to write about. On the MIT thing, to be honest, I don't really expect to get in. Okay, that doesn't bother me at all, but I just don't have the same pedigree as other people.
yeah, like the resume.
Yeah, like it just bothers me, but it's whatever. I don't really care. I believe in my ability enough, but it's just that they see you as a piece of paper, and you have all these people that may have been to CERN and all these other places, and wow, this person is really good, and so you take that. So
It depends on who looks at your application too.
This kid came from FAU and stuff. I'd love to be in that environment. I think it'd be interesting.
I mean, because you have to present like a proposal or the work you want to do there, right?
You mean in the application?
Yeah, that's like your
Your
letter
statement
of intent.
yeah, statement of purpose
Yeah.
or whatever shit. Yeah.
So I think that's actually really important. Like that's when they realized, oh, okay, this kid actually knows some shit. Like he's not just like picking like the most popular problem right now in physics. Like he's actually like just founded like his own path, and he's like thinking about something interesting that maybe not everybody's thinking about, but he obviously knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So I think they just want to know that you
Have some direction or something.
it's just you didn't just go on like read some papers and then like craft some like I want to work on this, and like you just like craft it around like people can tell, like someone intelligent should be able to realize that you like has generally been thinking about a problem for a while and is talking about it.
Yeah. Whatever. It won't bother me either way. To be honest, that's probably a lie. It might bother me slightly. But in the long run, I don't think it will. Of course, it would be awesome. I just think I've always wanted to be in like that environment to do like literally everybody is like innovating around you.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the biology department, everybody's doing something new.
Yeah.
You go to the engineering department, everybody is doing something new. You go to the math department, everybody's doing something like on the cusp of something.
Yeah.
I think that's like such an exciting place to be.
Yep.
You know? And not many other places can claim that. Like you may have really an exceptional department, but how many places have every department is doing something exceptional?
Yep. What happened to Vicki?
Yeah, Vicki.
She's sleeping.
I'm gonna piss again. Let me use the bathroom real quick. Have you been hearing all that shit about Tesla?
Yeah. Google automatically shows it to me.
Yeah, same. You have that Google search app?
I don't know what it's called. It's just like on my phone, it's just right here. So like when I swipe this way, it just gives me a bunch of shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know what the hell happened. I haven't clicked on it. I just I've been reading the headlines.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, the first because like shit like that happens like every month. But that just kept coming out, so I was like, oh shit, something serious happened.
Various other people have been writing articles about like how Tesla is more or less in pretty big financial trouble and they can go bankrupt soon or something like that.
I don't know how true that is. Many people say that all the time. I don't know why there's so many people that want to shit on Tesla. There's like
you know exactly why there's so many people. Tesla.
Well, yeah, there's so much money there, but yeah, I guess so. It's just hard to believe that all those people are like somehow benefiting from writing bad articles.
Dude, it just pisses me off. Like, are people just stupid? Like, I love what he said. Something like, it's tautological that if it's not sustainable, it's gonna run out.
Yeah, it's so obvious. It's like he shouldn't even have to say that.
Right.
Like,
so
it's like he puts in so much effort to not make people sound like they're dumb. He says something simple in like many different ways, without being like, "Are you fucking stupid?"
Like we're using a non-renewable resource. Like Jesus Christ, can we not just direct our intellectual efforts to creating something that is renewable and will be better for mankind? Like, why are people so strongly opposed to doing that? Like, it just seems like he frequently calls it like the dumbest. Well, that's with respect to climate change, but it's just dumb. Like, why can we not just do the right thing? Because it's so hard for humanity to just like, yeah, let's do something good. Like we all.
It's not humanity. It's a couple of people that
Yeah.
are just making a shit ton of money right now.
Yeah, those people have everyone else by the balls. It seems like it's just.
I'm pretty optimistic about it, and I think most people know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
The articles just make it seem like
Yeah,
there's a
skew-
controversy,
skew the- yeah.
and like the politicians like talking about it also makes it seem like it's a debate. I don't think it's a debate.
Why isn't it more one-sided then?
What do you mean?
Like, if it wasn't controversial in some aspect, then would see like a wave of support in one direction.
There is a wave of support.
But you don't hear about that. Like you don't. It's not. It's not dominated by one side. You know. So like, if it was the case, then we would just see all this incentive for other things. There'd be huge carbon taxes and all this stuff.
Oh, you think you're talking about like government actions that are all in favor of that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not all one-sided because there's money involved.
Yeah, exactly.
But in terms of like people, like what they're thinking, like in the world, like people know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's not cost effective.
These fuckers are crafty though, dude. How they? So you find a few scientists that are willing to speak against it, and then you use them.
It only took like 3 people.
Yeah. There's some people they're like, wow, he's from Harvard, and it just says like, oil's good, and then look at this guy, he says it is, so it must be true. Like that's just people's rationale.
Yeah.
When it's not that at all. You need it's it's the totality of the support. It's not just one guy says something and then he's like happens to be important.
Yeah.
Therefore everybody else is wrong. You know.
But yeah, dude, I have to send you this book called it's called The Sovereign Individual.
I remember seeing you post something about that.
Yeah.
I think.
It's really good.
Oh, and bring that bitch over here.
It's I have it on Kindle, so I don't know if you'll be able to open it up if I send you the file. But basically it talks about what we were talking about, how the individuals are being empowered now that distribution is approaching zero, like the cost of distribution is approaching zero. But it takes it to like another level. Like we were talking about like market institutions, like the institution of like education, institution of information. But this takes it to like the extreme. It basically talks a lot about how like what happened after the Roman Empire collapsed and like the church emerged as like the new governments. Yeah. Like there wasn't like formal governments, it was just like the church. That was like the main institution that controlled what people did.
Absolutely.
And then
like the Pope had influence over like kings.
Yeah. Basically, it talks about how the dynamics of power changed as the cost of inflicting violence on other people goes up or down. For example, like the example that I gave is like when you were a knight, like it cost a lot of money to be a knight, like a horse and like a sword. Like not everyone could be a knight. You had to have a certain like level of money to have those things.
Right.
So the average person could not just spend themselves for knights on horses. And then when the gun was created, that democratized violence. So now a poor person working really hard can afford a gun.
Yeah.
So that that flattened society.
Oh, okay. So this is the point that the guy is making.
Yeah.
One of the points.
Yeah. So it talks about, and not just that's just one of the points. Like it talks about in general how the cost of violence
dictates like the
like the hierarchies in society. And so it relates that to the internet and what's happening now. And so this book was written in like 90 something, before the internet happened, and it's predicting a bunch of shit that's happening now, like Bitcoin. So yeah, it's really, really cool. You should read it.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I'm so much like a, I don't know if you've ever played video games in which you can look at like people's attributes on some kind of geometrical thing. Like they'll have the attributes. They'll have attributes on like the corner of like a polygon or something.
Yeah.
And you can see like the spikes and the directions. Like that's how much skill that you have in that direction. I feel like mine is so heavily weighted on one side that it's just like all skewed in a few directions.
Yeah, it's like one huge spike.
It's just one huge spike in like and everything else is like these little blips. Like, dude, I feel
the same way. Yeah.
I know next to nothing about economics, history, like all these other things that are just important for being. I'm probably pretty well rounded with respect to like a lot of people, but like personally, I feel like I know nothing about like geography, history.
Yeah, I was too until just very recently. Like during college, I was really like just trying to understand like where like society was in like a historical context. So I just started reading like about anthropology and like history, but from like a technological standpoint. And that, like, I feel like that was like really helpful. Like, I'm really glad that I did that. Like, I feel like I have a much better context of like what the hell's going on in the world.
Right.
I just think that technology is like a really good lens through which to understand what the fuck's going on right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's a really good book though. You should definitely read it.
Sounds fascinating. You reread the whole thing already?
I just stopped reading. I read like half of it, but it's really good. I need to finish it, but it's really good. I'm not like reading it all right now.
Nice.
I need to.
And some people will just go their whole lives not learning anything.
I think everyone knows a lot about something, just whether you think that matters or not.
I don't.
You don't think so?
No, I think how education is that it just gives you a broad understanding of a minimal understanding of a lot of
But
stuff.
everyone cares about
with
something.
zero depth. Yeah, you may know a lot about like sports.
Yeah, that's how I think about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who know way more about sports than I do. Like,
Yeah.
they're like fucking know everything about like the Jets or something.
Right. Like know all their past fucking players and like who's managing this shit.
I think there's very few people who don't have like some category of expertise.
Right. Yeah, that's true. You know what I was thinking that kind of like blew my mind? Why the fuck is my room getting so dirty? No matter how, it seems like I clean it all the time. Why is it always getting dirty?
But you are like dusty?
No, like disorganized.
Oh yeah.
Bro, there's shit everywhere.
Shit everywhere. There's shit everywhere! Damn it! There's shit on the windows! Oh my god! My house is full of shit!
And it's because of entropy.
Yeah.
Like literally, like the entropy of a system is just more or less a measure of how many ways it can be arranged.
Yeah. There's
Like,
more.
in
There's
very
more
process.
disorganized ways.
Yeah, exactly. So when everything is organized, it's a very limited set of states within the scope of how many ways it
Yeah.
can be arranged. And so naturally, the state of the bedroom system
Yeah.
is just going to tend to a state where things are just all over the place because there's just more ways to do that. I just think that's such a beautiful explanation to why. shit
I
gets
remember I did
all
my the presentation that we had to do for StatMech.
Yeah.
It was about entropy. I got a pretty bad grade on that. I don't know why.
Did you really?
I thought I did a pretty good job. I guess Lau didn't like it. It wasn't technical enough.
But it's part of why quantum mechanics is so interesting too. It's because like classical mechanics can make predictions about the future. They're very definite predictions. For quantum mechanics, you lose the definiteness of how something happens. You can say what happens with
Dude,
probability.
I feel like I know so little about quantum. Like I learned so little about it in my quantum class. It's crazy. Like, people are like, "Oh, you study physics? Can you explain like quantum mechanics for me?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't understand. I don't know anything about it."
Oh, what did you take in the last semester? That you were
Quantum, E&M2, and another course.
Oh shit, you were up at Sorry's class?
The electronics lab.
The physical electronics.
Oh, the second lab.
Oh, this is lab 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was 2 labs with Ron. That was actually really fun. Yeah.
That was cool, I like
And the seminar, I think. That was,
Oh shit, that was your last semester?
yeah.
Dr. Will. Dude, I didn't show up to like...
That was such a bullshit semester.
It was. How'd you do in Sorry's class?
I passed by like a few. Actually, I think I didn't pass, but he curved me.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's how bad I did.
Excuse me!
I did. Like, they were like, "Hey, you're gonna move my camera. You should sit right here so you can be in the floor."
Yeah.
I need my laptop.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, to take
Fuck,
quiz.
you
Oh, yeah,
just-
that could
you
be
just
quiz.
fucking ruined my shop, so. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it's gonna have enough visual power to look there.
We're just gonna see because it's really right angle, so we're gonna be like pretty small on the frame.
Situate this bad boy.
I have to take a linguistics quiz.
You do?
Boo.
That sucks.
That's boring.
Not really.
Just kidding.
It's fun.
It's not fun, but it's interesting.
What is linguistics?
Well, there's different parts of linguistics. So this class that I have is
Wait, hold on. I want people to see what your explanation of linguistics.
Yeah, come on now.
There's different parts of linguistics. So I'm in 2 linguistics classes, and one's phonetics and one's grammar. So the phonetics one is just, so you know how like in the dictionary, next to like the word that you like are looking up, there's like the phonetic spelling of the word, and the, like the pronunciation.
Oh yeah. Like it's spelled like if a kid would spelled it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like an international phonetic alphabet, and it's only made up of like I think 50 characters or something.
It has like weird lines in it and stuff.
Yeah, they're like all different. Like some of them, like a lowercase I is the symbol for like the E sound,
Yeah.
and like a capital I, but it's like a small caps I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like stops, affricates, fricatives, like flaps and shovels and
Flaps?
flaps.
Linguistics is so interesting.
There's a lot.
It's such an interesting subject.
Yeah, I've heard that there's names for everything that you can do with your mouth.
There is. I don't know all of them because I've only taken like 2 classes. But yeah.
We're talking like a linguist.
There's a lot of rules. I don't understand all of them. I'm kind of confused about what we're doing right now. Like the homework I had to turn in last week, I had to work with someone so that I could understand what was happening.
So you should just learn how to program in Mathematica. You can just tell it to like do everything for you in linguistics. And
Why would I want to do that?
Because then you can learn. Because then you might not know how to do something, and you just you'd write a code for like spitting out an answer, and you just write something and like learn from the examples or something. Maybe.
That's the same thing with me looking it up here.
I feel like there should be like you should be able to write like an algorithm that like you just say a word to it and it gives you like the phonetic pronunciation of what you just said. Like and then like perfectly like. I wonder if that gets all of you in the frame. So that's phonetics, right? What's the other one you said?
Grammar.
That's boring, right?
Yeah, unless you're like into that kind of stuff, like the professor's like a million years old.
It just seems like you're just learning a bunch of rules.
Yeah.
This is how we talk. The object always goes before the
I
thing.
remember like just in English, he's like, you know all of the rules, but like because you're.
Subconsciously.
Yeah.
Now you
It's
have
like
to
so
learn
now
it
you're
for
trying
real.
to learn them like in a class, and it's really hard for everyone because we don't understand.
Dude, these are some nice bands.
Thanks, man. I got them yesterday.
It's alcohol take my ass.
Your feet is small.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Yes.
I was gonna buy some bands yesterday.
Really?
But I bought these instead. I hadn't been like,
Those are still nice.
what?
I said those are still nice.
Yeah, we hadn't like had time to like buy something for my birthday, so my parents like brought me to the mall yesterday. Kind of awesome.
I was at the mall yesterday.
Oh really? So we could have seen each other?
Yeah. We didn't.
We thought we're not the same mall.
Probably not. I've never had like these tie lace-up bands. I had like the white slip-on ones.
You had the sulfur ones?
No. Shit. No. Pull myself for this. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Yeah.
Are you staying for dinner?
Nope.
Trying to make steak with like blood orange and avocado and shit.
Blood orange?
What are you guys
Blood
doing?
sausage. What?
Blood
You guys
sausage.
came up for dinner.
Are you dead ass, dude?
I don't know. I don't know if we have enough steak.
I don't want
I was gonna bring some pasticcio, but I fucking forgot. I literally told my parents I'm gonna bring my parents some pasticcio, and then I left and I didn't.
Shit! Damn, we can just slide and get some pastillo.
Get some steak and pasticcio. I'm just gonna take some pasticcio too.
I'm gonna take some pastillo.
Yeah, just come over.
Would your parents be okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you sure?
I hate to impose. I mean, I definitely want to go. Like dead ass. But I hate like. Who said you guys can come over here?
Yeah.
I'll just tell them before we come.
I
Because
like
we ate
them all.
lunch really late. We ate like at 3 or 4. Like at 3, I think. So we're gonna eat pretty late.
Okay. That's fine with me.
These days.
That food was so good last time.
It would.
You guys liked it?
Fucking
Yeah, really good.
plantains with it.
That was really good. I just love it. It just seems so. Not that guy from Chef's Table, the one you like from Patagonia.
Oh yeah.
It just seemed so. I don't know. I don't even know what the proper adjective would be. Like you just have like we just ate a whole fish with some like fresh plantain.
That
It just
shit's
seems
crazy.
like such a
Like a tribal place.
yeah like
Yeah.
a earthy, just
Like you could have been in the middle of like South America and the Amazon.
yeah,
like,
we just
eating
like
that
fucking
shit.
beat the fish overhead and we just toss it on a fire. Like that's, I love that. I love when the cooking is like that. It's like a very primal kind of thing. It's like you said about the guy with the alcohol. Homie had like a jug of wine like
jug, bro.
this.
Things like a 4-liter bottle.
Do you use your sponge yet?
Sponge.
What sponge? Sea sponge?
Yeah.
We got a fancy sponge now.
A fancy sponge?
It's like a cellulose sponge.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's hanging on the thing in the corner of the shower.
Alright, I'll just take a shower real quick.
Yeah, we have like no already cooked foods.
Yeah.
to snack on.
We have to cook it right. It'll probably be ready within an hour. I mean, the salmon takes about 40 minutes to cook.
Yeah, he walked in when I was in the lizard pose.
So this.
Well, yeah, but I was like more stretched out than you.
Your leg is like flat against the ground. He said he thought you were at the yoga over there.
Oh,
He's like,
is she doing it here? I think last time we went to your house, I had a quiz due that night, and I completely forgot because we went to
God
your
damn
house.
it.
I know. And then I was like, oh man.
I'll just take a 0.
yo, how'd that application thing go, dude?
Yeah.
It was good, dude. I put
It
so
looks
much.
like you're doing some legit work in Python there.
Yeah, that took a long time. Actually, making the video actually took a really long time too. Oh, I didn't tell you I made a video. Yeah, I made a video of like me solving the problem. They didn't want anyone to like talk about the problem at all in any public places, so I'm gonna just wait until they like pick the scholars before I post a video.
Dude, I hope you get it.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
I'll find somebody who don't.
I'd be hard pressed to find somebody who deserves it more.
Well, they said they care a lot about your technical ability, and my technical ability sucks like shit. So I actually made a video. So the reason I made a video is because like they put a link for like a personal page.
Mm-hmm.
So I like on the personal page I put an unlisted video on YouTube to the thing I made.
Right.
And they actually I could just show it to you because
Yeah. You haven't posted or anything, right?
what?
You said you haven't posted it or anything?
What do you mean posted it? It's not public. It's
Yeah,
like private.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to watch it or are you doing a quiz?
No, I'm taking a quiz, but I can,
Is it timed?
no.
This is like a legit movie that I made. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is this shit? Like one of the reasons I made this is because like, alright, so like the criteria, let me just show you the criteria real quick. This is like what inspired me to like actually apply and like put on a lot of effort because I actually think I can get it.
You said it's like some kind of tutelage deal?
Tutelage?
Yeah, like someone's gonna mentor you?
I've never heard that word before. Yeah, basically, these are the people who are gonna mentor us. They're all employees at OpenAI. Yeah, basically they give you a shit ton of money. I don't know why they give you that much money. They give you like $7,000 per month for 3 months.
Shit!
And then you get to like talk to them over video call over.
Are you living in Cali?
No, it's a remote program.
Oh, okay.
So, but I would want to go to Cali because it says here that if you happen to be in San Francisco, that they would give you a desk in their office. So that would be fucking sick. Because you have to write like a blog post each week, like that they require you to do that on your progress and like what things are helping you and like blah blah blah. And it's like self-directed, so they don't tell you what to do. Like you just kind of learn on your own, and you write blog posts about how you're learning and like how the mentors are helping you.
Yeah.
And then your technical skills, so like how strong your technical background is, the more time you'll spend focused on deep learning itself. So.
I'm so proud!
Aww.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll watch that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will.
Fuck, dude,
That would suck if I made that and they're like, wait, you made a video?
yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty buzzed right now. But so I totally forgot the question I wanted to ask.
You wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, I had a question.
Shit.
How's your lighting so good?
My lighting?
Yeah, all the videos in
Fuck, I
What
can't
lighting?
even remember.
Like you
That
just
was just the window.
illuminated.
There's a light at my desk.
That's great light.
The night light or the day light?
Any light.
In the day, it was
You just know your angles so well. Every picture and video that you're in, you just like.
Yeah, dude, you posture yourself.
Yeah, man, it's like perfect. I'm like, fuck.
Dude, you should see my setup, bro. It was literally like I had to like balance my phone like this. It was so gangster.
Shit. Fuck. I wish I remembered what I wanted to say.
Remember.
I know.
You said yoga.
Yeah.
Like Vicki. Vicki was like.
My
You
freaking
try
fruit, my
using-
Vicki
freaking,
was
my
like
freaking
hardcore like.
I was in lizard pose.
And she was like.
And
free recall.
I wasn't expecting anyone to
I
come
need to
in.
meditate more. Yeah. Why didn't you film everything on that?
On this thing? I did. The parts that was going really fast, that was on it.
Thing was just like off in space over here. I'm enjoying studying for the GRE, physics GRE.
It's enjoyable.
I think I appreciate the like ability to calculate things quickly. So sometimes you just need to make like rough approximations to understand how to do the problem.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I like being able to make like rough approximations to see like the order of magnitude of something. I think it's a really good skill. What?
Fucking nerd.
Shut up! Yeah, it's a good
Nerd ass.
it's a good skill to have.
He's a nerd.
So what?
I had some alcohol and no food in my stomach.
Alright.
Yeah, me too.
That's a good combination.
Yeah, it's great.
No food and alcohol.
I hate that music.
She's so sick of this probably.
I hate this shit.
I play it all the time.
I like Brazilian trap music.
I'm just gonna look at
Brazilian
it
trap music? Shit, what is that?
You never heard?
Nah.
Alright, I gotta show you Sango then. Just type in Sango into YouTube.
What'd you say? Brazil trap music?
Brazilian trap music.
Are you looking it up? Instead of doing your quiz? Just finish your quiz!
I'm looking up an answer.
Oh shit.
Brazilian trap music.
Not an answer. I'm looking up what this means.
You say this one?
This is not good.
Sango.
No, I'm pretty sure you said this one.
Michael, I'm gonna punch you in your face.
North, the full album?
Quero te dar, quero te dar, da 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 da. Quero te dar, quero te dar, da 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 da. Quero te dar, da 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 da. Quero te dar. Meu nome é Vala. Quero te dar, da 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 da. Quero te dar, da 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 da. Quero te dar, da 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 da. Quero te dar. Meu nome é Vala. Da 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 da.